Shane didn't have anything. Scott asked to be excused.
Jim Scott.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was $500. So that's gonna save us $500 there.
Okay.
No, okay, annual.
Only 500?
Half to a half, ain't it?
Oh,
Yeah, we just,
The
surface.
street ones are the ones with the red dots.
I don't like those ones. Yeah,
I was
I don't like
thinking more,
this one.
I was thinking more in general, but.
Yeah, I put one of those in my mouth. I was like, that is not what I thought was good.
Yeah, it's a major change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Janelle's like, what's wrong? I'm like, it's bad. She's like, it's just a different flavor. It's not.
Most people like the orange.
Well, when you're expecting mint and that pops in and you're like, that's not what I want.
You got your time clock in order?
Janelle,
Cool.
how many people, you knew of one person that signed up? Anybody else?
I'm sorry.
Oh, Stafford.
This meeting, town council meeting for 4/27/26 is now called to order.
Mayor Ernie Blackford,
Here.
Councilmember Deja Edwards.
Here.
Councilmember Greg Busby.
Here.
Councilmember John Malavino.
Here.
Councilmember Chad Edwards.
Here.
Town Attorney Scott Murray has to be excused tonight. Town Engineer Shane Porter has to be excused tonight. Chief of Police Mike Thompson.
Here.
Fire Chief Mark Cornett.
Here.
Public Works Director Dan Corson.
Here.
Town Clerk Janelle Underwood, listed citizens.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ooh, do I have a motion for the approval of the agenda?
So moved. Or second.
You can have it.
All right.
So we have a motion and a
Yes, so
second?
moved.
I'll second.
Okay. We now have a motion and a second. Any discussion? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. And under consent of agenda, we have a couple items: approval of minutes, regular meeting for April 13th, 2026, and approval of business licenses, 7 Frame Solutions and Viking Painting LLC. Do I have a motion?
One motion.
A second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. We will now open this up for public comments. Are there any public comments?
Phil Gerke, I live at 644 Eagle Trail. Just a couple cleanup things. Last meeting, when you guys were doing the health insurance thing, one thing I noticed is if you were in the audience, you couldn't hear one word of what was going on.
She was so soft-spoken.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's any fix for that, but just as a deal. And then on Facebook, it's come up about the Vivint guys out there doing soliciting. And I know when they came by my house, they're supposed to have badges and all that stuff, and they didn't. And they weren't very truthful. But So that brought up another thing, that I had a young man stop by the house, which I think was awesome. He was looking to get jobs cleaning windows on houses and stuff. But technically, I guess he's supposed to have a license too, or have permission, so, but like I say, it was just some high school kid looking to make some extra money for something, nice young guy, but, anyway, so I don't know if that ordinance needs to be relooked at or what, I don't know. And then the third thing was have you guys noticed where the city of Casper over on the park that is near Country Club and 15th, where they put all that, I think that's what you ought to look at doing with that area between 5th and 6th Street, that big park. You know, to do something like that, and I'm assuming they got a grant for that. But, you know, I think the way they got that set up would probably save a lot on water, because all those areas are all mulched in, and, you know, I don't know, but I think it would probably be worth taking a look at. But if you get a chance, if you haven't seen that, go by and look at it. I mean, it's
Where
pretty
is
cool.
it at?
You guys, it's the park that that had some damage to it right there, right below Manor Heights,
Yeah,
on the opposite side of the street. Remember somebody had set
if you're
it on
driving from
fire
here, yeah, excuse me.
before you get to Country Club.
Yeah, if you leave here, go down 15th Street, just go past Manor Heights, and it'll be a big park just on your right, about 2 blocks later. But it's really a neat park. So, and I'm sure they didn't just invent money to do that, because they planted a lot of trees and did a lot of work down there and stuff. So, and of course they moved that playground equipment, but, and then the last thing was, I used to be in the health insurance business for like 20 years. And last week when the lady from the with the health insurance and stuff, and I'm sure she's a nice young lady and stuff, seemed to be, and I know it happened when I was on the council too. When you guys get presented with that stuff like 2 days before you gotta make a decision, that's just not right. I mean, they get a notice of renewal 60 days ahead of time. So it's not like there hasn't been time, but it seems like you guys ought to have at least a couple weeks minimum to, you know, think it over and be able to ask questions and whatnot. And part of the problem that I see with just a few things off the top of my head is I think if you guys could get your renewals so it was on the first of the year rather than in the middle of the year. If you ever want to switch, typically your deductibles carry over for the employees, but co-insurances do not. So if somebody has met their co-insurance and you guys switch insurance companies, they're going to be up the creek if they paid, you know, $2,000-3,000 out for their co-insurance. They're going to have to start all over. So it could, you know, make it kind of tough to make that change. But, you know, and how it ever got set up in the middle of the year has probably been done forever. But there's just some things like that, you know, that I think could be done to, you know, to make things better. The other thing is got into a discussion about the life insurance. And Deja, I know you made the point and you guys talked about and went to the 25,000, which really sounds nice. But about all that does is pay for the funeral and a couple things. And typically, because it's so cheap, typically is what happens is you get insured for, you know, 1 or 2 or 1.5 times your salary. So if something does happen to a city employee, at least you know their family, because most of them are going to be either they got family, husband, wife, kids, whatever, or they may have, you know, a mother and dad they're living with or whatever. But there's a lot more expenses that go into it than just a funeral. And then that way, you know, you don't have to feel guilty about, you know, well, what are they going to do now for, you know, for the next year, but at least it gives them a running start. And also, and I don't know whether it's available there or not, but there's usually an option to purchase insurance. additional life insurance at a very, very cheap rate with no underwriting. But typically, they have to do that on either the day that you start the new insurance policy up or right away when they go to work with no underwriting. And for some people that have some medical issues that can make a huge difference. But I think there's some things like that you guys would be able to do to make the health insurance plan better without spending a lot of money. So anyway, just a few suggestions.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other public comments? Any other public comments?
Janelle, how many people signed up to work the garden? One?
I didn't look at it today, but last week when I'd seen the sheet, it was just one.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? There are no more. Public comments are closed. Okay, next item. Apparently, our next scheduled meeting is on Memorial Day, May 25th. I don't think any of us want to come in here on Memorial Day, so do I have a motion to cancel May 25th and reschedule it for the day after May 26th?
I'll motion.
A second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll motion.
Second?
I have a motion for adjournment and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Council meeting is closed at 7:10 PM.
Why is there a zip on the back of your coat? You don't know how bad I was.